Okay, here we are. We flew in yesterday and it was sunny. It was beautiful weather. As you can see, the weather is pretty cool this morning as well. We've got a bit of cloud moving in over the back there, near the top of the mountains. And there's camp. But at the minute, everything is set fair and dandy. So the plan is this morning, we're going to go on top of that hill up there and sit and do some glassing and see what we can see. We did a little bit of glassing last night after we'd set camp up. We didn't see anything, but it's just a waiting game. That's great. We'll catch you later.
And so it's morning of day 2. Busy day yesterday, getting into country, getting camp set up. It's been worth the effort. We're in a spectacular valley, big mountains on both sides, huge field of view right the way down from top to bottom. It's pretty cold last night. Hopefully that's got things moving around, but what's great for us today is the weather is still dry. A little bit overcast, we may expect some rain later on this afternoon, but for now it's nice and dry and it's still. I think the plan is to just get up onto the ridge on the right hand side of us, up here, see if we can see anything up there. You've got a great view all the way up and down. We're not too far from camp, so we don't need to venture too far. We don't want to go sensing the area and putting too much disturbance on the ground that we're going to be hunting. There's a lot of caribou tracks here, so I've seen a couple of moose tracks just up on the top. So yeah, things are looking pretty good. It's just great to be here, really. You know, it's been a lot of time, effort and energy and getting all this put together, and to finally see it here, we're on the ground and we're about to go hunting. It's pretty exciting. So full day ahead, so I suppose we better get to it.
As usual, eagle-eyed Wildie is the first to spot game. High on the mountainside opposite from camp is a grizzly sow and 2 cubs meandering across the tundra. At over 1,000 yards away, we take a closer look through the Hawke Endurance ED spotting scope and get some great footage of this magnificent apex predator and the next generation that will undoubtedly dominate this area. There are estimated to be around 30,000 grizzly bears roaming Alaska's interior. These voracious predators have had a significant impact on the moose and caribou populations, prompting the Alaska Fish and Game Department to increase quotas and lengthen the hunting season to bring balance back to the region. As the sow moves onto new hunting grounds, so must we. As we begin the arduous trek up the ridge behind camp and across the plateau beyond, today is about exploring and trying to find the best vantage point from which to survey the hunting area. It's all very new to us, and we take our time to figure out the optimum route through the tundra. This is where it helps to have an experienced hunting partner like Steve to discuss the various options and formulate a plan. Once in our elevated position, the entire valley opens up in front of us.
So, first morning out on the hunt, second day in camp. Of course, Steve and Mark have been in field for an extra day waiting for us to come in, and already we've got action. Steve, first thing this morning after your first coffee, mate?
Yeah, I found a nice grizzly sow on the mountain over there, and she's got 2 cubs, so we spent about an hour watching her go backwards and forwards, and then all of a sudden, must have been a boar up there or something, so she was protecting the cubs and just bolted straight over the screen and we lost sight of her.
So it's good to see some animals out in the mountains so early. So we took kind of a walk up after breakfast, came to this high spot, beautiful sunshine. The conditions are fantastic. Wind's in our favour, kind of blowing from the side that we can't get to over towards us, and within 5 minutes of sitting down, Wildie spots another caribou. So it's handy having you along, really.
Well, that's the only reason you bought me, so they
certainly
told me.
Not for your company.
Yeah,
for sure.
My intellect in conversation.
Yeah. There's actually 2 bulls down there. One of them looks like it's just in the process of finishing its shed. It's kind of clear at the top, but it's a bit red. And there's another one kind of with the palmation at the top. So they're probably around 1,200, 1,300 yards away, something like that. So we're going to head over there, see if we can get a bit closer, get up on the high ground, downwind of them, and see what we can see. But so far it's been a productive day. Mark's got a caribou tag, I've got a caribou tag, so it'd be nice to get this wrapped up by lunchtime if you wouldn't mind, Mark.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah, no messing around. So I suppose, Stephen, let's get over there.
With the possibility of doubling up on the 2 caribou bulls, there's a renewed sense of optimism and a purpose in our stride. We pause periodically to get our bearings. The ground continually changes shape as we progress, with new ridges, knolls and ravines appearing from nowhere. The weather may be beautiful, but it makes the trek a lot tougher as we struggle to control our body temperature. Our Frontier Gear frame packs contain the essentials such as food, water, extra clothing and survival equipment, but they still weigh in around 45 pounds, and you can definitely feel the extra weight. As our elevation increases, so does the quality of our view. From here we can formulate our approach into the caribou, which have disappeared from view and are evading our advances. And so we've had a nice little walk this afternoon. It's about midday. Of course, we started off, saw the caribou on the ridge that's just behind us here. The wind's been swirling around. We're trying to find vantage points. But once you get into the ground, it looks very different from it does way back at a vantage point. We've had to make a slightly different plan and get to higher ground. The wind keeps swirling and changing in these valleys down here. 1 minute it's in your face, next minute it's coming from the side of you, and then worse still, it's blowing from behind you. But we've made some good headway, Steve.
Yeah, well, good headway. We haven't covered that much ground. It's
about
taken
800 yards as a crow flies and about 3 miles up and down.
That's the way it is around here, and we've made a plan, haven't we? Now we've got the high ground just below the mountain, and so we're going to push a bit further around, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. That's the difficulty here. What looks flat from a mile away suddenly turns out to have lots of undulations in it, and they might only be 20 feet high, but that's enough to cloak completely a caribou. So the best thing really is try and stick with the high ground as best possible. You actually do get a pretty good view. The only downside is you miss outside of some of these inclines, so if they do walk up the valley a little bit closer to you, you might not see them. But I think we've got a really good opportunity of looking down some of these ravines behind us, hopefully get the right side of the wind and then work our way back to camp, and I think that would be a pretty good day's work.
Good idea.
I suppose we've got to get moving.
As we get closer to the mountains, the incline increases dramatically. Whilst the vegetation isn't too problematic, the sheer physical exertion is beginning to take its toll. But every yard we climb brings us closer to spotting the caribou, which are almost certainly laying down in the heat of the afternoon sun, whilst we toil on the slopes of the mountain. We may be weary, but must also keep our wits about us. The terrain can be treacherous, and a sprained ankle, or worse still a broken leg, could expose us to a long, dangerous night in the tundra. The view from here is simply breathtaking, and it's been well worth the effort. Now we can scan the area ahead of us in detail, spot the caribou, and agree the optimal approach. I take the opportunity for a brief siesta before the afternoon's exertions. But there's no rest for the wicked. We spot a brief glimpse of one of the bulls and quickly make our way down the mountain towards the river. We estimate it will take us around an hour to reach the area, which means that time is against us if we want to harvest the bulls and then reach camp before nightfall. There's a feeling of tension and urgency in the air, but we must be patient and careful in our approach. The wind in the valley is constantly swirling, and it would take but a whiff of our scent to send the bulls beyond our reach. We drop packs as we approach the ridge beyond which we believe the caribou are grazing. We need to be light on our feet and ready to take a shot at a moment's notice. My sixth sense tells me we're close, and I spot one of the bulls grazing ahead and signal its location to the guys. This is undoubtedly one of the bulls we spotted earlier in the day. Its distinctly shaped antlers and beautiful white neck are unmistakable. We must now establish the location of the other bull, which is almost certainly in the immediate vicinity.
See that? This right side's got good formation, this left side's got
And there he is, just a few yards between them. This really is the perfect opportunity. Both are mature bulls and both in safe shooting positions. We move into position using our Vanguard B62 sticks to provide an elevated shooting position over the willow. We must now wait for them to rise. The first bull is aware of our presence and stands. As Mark loads, I wait patiently for the second bull to make his move. Mark's first shot connects perfectly, but my double lung shot didn't immediately anchor the bull, and so I put a second one in to bring him down.
With double team, well done, Mark, well done.
With both bulls down, we gather our packs and head down to pay our respects to the fallen game. Our first job is to tag the bulls and complete our harvest tickets. This is an essential part of the management program here in Alaska, with every animal harvested accounted for, including where and when it was taken. My bull is younger and is still clearing the velvet from its antlers. It has a dark hide and is quite large in the body. Mark's has a beautiful rack and spectacular hide.
I'm sure both will make for great eating. Our next job is to get the guts out of the bulls as quickly as possible so the carcasses don't spoil in the afternoon sun. With the bulls tagged and cleaned, we mark the position on the Garmin InReach GPS and make our way back to camp.
So I suppose you could call that a pretty epic first day in the field. We're pretty tired after coming in yesterday and setting up camp, so we thought, we'd just nip out for half an hour, have a bit of a glass around, a bit of a scan.
And as it always happens, we find 2 bulls.
Yeah, so Waldy managed to see bulls, I don't know, about 800 yards away maybe about that. Yeah. And so we thought, we'll just go a little bit further, and then a bit further, and then we went. So we started off up on the right hand side here, up on these high points, and then we came down into the valley. Now we lost sight of the caribou for a little bit because we were kind of in the thick of things. So we went up to higher ground, sat and glassed for a bit, and if you're patient, eventually things come to you. We knew the animals were down there. The last thing you want to do is get in there, spoil it with scent, and worse still, you could kind of bump something that's pretty close to you. So always be patient, and given enough time, something will stand up. And
it did. As soon as the sun went in, the cloud came over, boom, it was like flicking the switch, wasn't it?
It was. So we saw one stood up with a really white mane, beautiful looking bull. So we thought we'll kind of make a move on it.
Yeah.
So he came down, kind of tried to outflank it. The wind was in our favour. Funnily enough, it's changed now. It's blowing straight down the valley again. So the wind was in our face, so we kind of trying to outflank it. We saw it move into behind a ridge. Got up on top of the ridge, and then we were kind of deciding what to do. And lo and behold,
moved in closer, and
there was the other one sat next to him. So they were less than 5-6 yards apart.
About 6 yards, yeah.
Yep.
Fast asleep, both of them.
Yeah.
So then the waiting game again. Waiting for him to get up, and we give it a bit of a whistle.
We tried all sorts of animal noises. We're just not scary enough, I think. So they were very uninterested.
Asleep standing up there for a minute.
Yeah. So quite kind of strange behaviour both from us and from the animals themselves. And then we got a little bit closer, and they both stood up. Mark took a fabulous neck shot, dropped his one on the spot. Mine took a step forward as I shot it, so the first shot was a little bit far back, ran up onto the top of the bank, about 15 yards maybe, and the next shot brought him down. So 2 very happy with the kills. They're right out there up on top of that ridge, which is going to take some getting out tomorrow, but otherwise it's been a pretty incredible day.
Yeah, the boys done good shooting, good walking, good hunting.
Yeah.
It's been a good day.
And it's a bit of deja vu as well, because we had this, myself and Wildy, last year when we came and Mark was guiding us that time. We got 2 at the same time as well.
Hammered them as well, didn't we?
Yeah, that was 400 yards though, so actually this time, a little bit close, about 100 and 130.
130 as well.
Yeah, something like that. So it's a lot closer, but an epic first day, and we really weren't expecting it.
No.
We trying to ease into it. But yeah, so just want to say congratulations, Mark. First.
Thank you.
Yeah.
First Alaskan Caribou. He's normally getting people into animals. It's the first time he's been able to come out hunting, which is great. Thank you very much, Waldy, for spotting him for us again.
Yeah, no problem. You
can come again.
So it's fine. I'm looking forward to packing them out tomorrow. It's all going to be
tonight Waldy's going to do a bit of knife work, and I'm going to do carrying. Because I'm terrible with knives. All I can do is lift heavy things for long distances. So so got a brew, got dinner on the go.
Yeah.
Early night, and congratulations, boys. Thank you very much.
Well done, boys.
Great night.
Excellent day.